Well, good day, everybody. Glad you can drop by for part two. Part two, we're going to finish off the paper sheath, and then we'll start cutting leather and putting everything together. Hope you enjoy. Let's get started. All right. Okay. Let's measure this off with round corners. I don't like straight corners because it could split. So what I'll do is I'll just round it off. Yeah, that's good there. Again, I'll round this one off. All right. So I'll cut that out. I got my top line. So I'll cut this out and then I'll tape it to the back of this and I'll make my loop. This here is a curved blade. So when you're sheathing your knife, okay, when you got to sheath your knife, you can't just go here because see it's way off and then it's outside and then you got to bring it back and then bring it down. I don't know. So what I have to do is like a kukri. I got to sheath it on an angle, draw the lines, draw the curves all the way around, keep drawing the curves and kind of follow the edge here and then come in here. And then once I get past here, then the back of the blade will ride this side of the welt. Okay. So basically what I did is as I'm coming in from an angle, I drew my blade right there. So I traced my blade. And I kept the back up against here. So it's touching the back. You can see it's sliding on the back of the welt here. So as it's sliding on the back of the welt, I go back to the next line. It's still touching back here. So then I draw my arc here. Now I keep forcing it down this line, the back. And I gotta watch up here. So I put my finger here, put one here, keep sliding back down the welt, down here. Boom. See right here? Now I draw that line. And I gotta watch here now. So I put my finger here. I can move it out here. Put my finger here. And I'll leave it right there on the line because it's got to come back. Well, the tip goes this way. The back's got to come this way. So as I'm coming in, I'm going to bring the back this way. See, right here. Now I'm bringing the back. And then right here, I got to draw that arc. All right. Now I'm going to be bringing the back right over. And then go down. So right now the back is right here. I'll put it here. So now I'm just going to sheath my knife, right? So now that I'm going to sheath my knife, I'll go back in here. I got to make one more adjustment. Right here. Now I keep following the back. Now I'm going to push it right in and watch the tip. I don't know if you're seeing that. But now that the tip's going to ride in, right there. So now the knife is sheath. All right. So now it's where it's got to be. So if you notice, right up here is where I was going to have my retention, but I start cutting it because I got to put my knife in on an angle right here. So I'm going to lose that retention because now I got to make the hole, I got to make my welt further away so that I can sheath the knife. So now that I got my arcs, there's one arc, I come back, there's the other, come back, there's this one, come back, there's this one, then come back, there's this one. So now I just got to trace my outside line, which is right here. So when I trace my outside line all the way down, there's my outside line. So that's where I got to cut my welt. So my welt will be this side, here is good, here is good, and this is okay. So now when I sheath it, I push it on an angle like this. That's how I got to sheath my knife, because it's a curved blade. Follow the line, look at the arc, bring the knife back, follow the line, there. Now I'm bringing the back here, now it's straight. Now I can't come back and, whoops, can't come back anymore. Here, let me change that angle, there. So now I got to stay here and push my knife forward. So there's the last arc. Now I can just sheath the knife. There it is. All right. So, in saying all that, this is now what the welt's going to look like. So if you follow the lines and the arcs, I already cut it out. Bring it across. And what I did is I came in a little bit on this side so I can give myself a little bit more on this side. That way when I stitch it here and stitch it up here, I might have just enough in here to give myself some retention in here. We'll see. If not, we'll come up with another way to gather it, because what I'm going to have to do probably is maybe right up in here in this area, right here, the top part, is I might have to wet mold to fit around here. So it's a pocket. But anyways, that's what I got so far. So this here I'll just put aside. So there's my 3 pieces. There's the back, the welt, and the front. So what I got to do now is put it on some leather. Now, for a knife like this, I'd use 9 ounce, 10 ounce, 9 ounce, 10 ounce. That's a pretty heavy knife. It's going to take a lot of wear and tear. always use a flashlight. That way there's no mistakes, you're following the line. Okay. Clean side, felt side. That's going to be the inside. This is where I'm going to tool my my claw marks and my dragon. So that's that piece right there done now. Okay. Now, I know I got the back already done, which is right here. But I always use this stencil, flip it open, and then I'll do the same thing. That way I know that the both of them will be exactly the same. Because I only cut these out with scissors, and it might be off a little bit. Actually, it's bang right on, but it don't matter. That's the way I do it. So anyways, that's one piece done. I just have one more, and then I have the welt to do. Then this here was too short for any of my pieces, so I had to get a full roll. So I'm going to cut out my welt. I'll do my other one like this, and I'll get right back to you once that's done. Whenever you're starting to cut and you got your flashlight, make sure you got a nice sharp blade. You already drew it with a pencil, so you already left an impression in the leather. So when you're starting to cut, very soft all the way around, give you your first cut, second cut, like you seen when I was doing it. I might go 5-6 times before I go through this leather. I don't try to do it in one shot. That's when you slip and make mistakes. Just nice and easy. All right. So just talk a little bit about the welt. Just give me a second. Okay. So basically, I want the thickness here and to taper off. Okay. See how it's thick up here? And then it tapers, right? That's for the thickness of the handle. All right. So when the handle goes in, you got a little bit of retention there, and it's not spreading your sheath. Okay, that's what I'm making right here. So I always double check, triple check. I'm constantly checking as I build my sheath. So that's basically how it's going to look. Upside down to you. Okay, but that's how it's going to look. So if I remove the top skin and just reveal, here, let me look in the screen. Let me see if I can slide it. Okay, you can see that. All right, so what you're looking at is here, let me just slide that. No, that's perfect. Whoops, sorry about that. What you're seeing is a little space right here between the blade and the welt. But if you look on this side, you'll see a nice space right here before it hits where I want my retention. All right, you'll see the space there, and there's a reason for that, because if I draw out the knife, we'll pretend that it's all together, but when I pull out the knife, you'll see what happens. See how it's tightening up in here now? It's touching here and it's touching here. All right, so I'll pull it the rest of the way. Again, right there. Now she's touching on this side and the back part's touching right here. Now I can unsheath the knife. And there you go. Now to put it back in, slides in here. Again, touching here and here. And as I follow the spine of the knife down, now it's touching here. Now you can start seeing my gap forming on top. And now I can just sheath the knife. Okay. Right from the belly here to the point is touching, and all the way up the spine, right to here it's touching. Here it's a little wide, and in here you can see the gap. You have no choice. Same like a kukri. Kukri will do the same thing because it's curved, and same with this. All right, so that's going to be the thickness of my welt. I might even go one more, half one. But when you put this on, there it is, lines up. So that's how it goes right there. And then on the other side, the same thing, but I'll have a strap. Now, before I do my attachment right here, where I stitch up the corner like this, like I said I was going to do, right here, before I stitch up this line and down here to attach this, I'll wait. Before I glue it together, that's got to be done, okay? But what I'll do is I'll get most of it together, and I'll probably just maybe glue the tip here. But once it's on the bottom, like this, I want to see how my knife will seat inside, because what I might do is I might put a strap on. I might put a strap on like this. I'll just sew it inside. See, you can see inside where I sewed it here, and then finally I attached the loop here. So I'll probably add one of these to hold the knife. I had to do it with this one too because how fat it is here, I could not get my retention at the bottom. It does hold, but it'll fall out, see? It just couldn't, I couldn't do it because of the width of the blade. Because you needed the width of the blade to go through. You needed the width, but once you go past it, there's nothing to give you your retention right here. So I had to put on a snap. Same as my BK7, I had to do the same thing. Because of the way it's designed, I had to put on a snap. But that's okay, that's just the nature of the beast. You got a nice place right here for the retention, so it works pretty good. Anyways, I might have to put one of these for them. So, now what I'll do is I'll cut this out in the leather. But when I trace it, I got to trace it on backwards so that I have the finished side on the outside. All right, I'll get that done and I'll get right back to you. All right. So that's done. Again, 10-ounce leather. It's going to fold over, attach right here. This here goes here. Yeah, I'll probably put a retention strap. I'll see. So, which one's this one? Maybe put the small one first. Then this one. And this one. This one. There you go. And then that'll go on here. It'll all be trimmed like right through here. I'm gonna skive it, thin it out so it tapers nice. So that's basically the thickness I'm gonna have here. And if I push gently right here, again, on an angle, and there you go. That's how she'll fit in. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pre-measure everything. I'm going to draw on my claw marks, my dragon head. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape all the back, make sure it's well taped with painter's tape. That way when I dampen this and I start to do my etching and I start pounding on it, it's not going to take the leather and stretch it. By taping the back, it'll stop it from stretching. So that's my next step. All right, let's get going.